What if, the dragon that changed everything, Tensura Fanfiction, author, ErogonWolf, a dragon floated through the infinite void, drifting into the very space where Veldanava was creating the world. Just as the creator put the finishing touches on his work, a deal was made. Seals were placed, and a new world awaited exploration. Eons later, a certain slime and his manas began to examine the void itself. Ciel discovered a mysterious door that Veldanava had sealed shut, viewing it as a challenge to overcome. However, unknown to her, the world beyond that door holds a power even stronger than her master. What chaos will be unleashed when the gate is finally opened? Chapter 19. Unexpected game. Damn that fairy, thought Leon. I just had to walk into that teleportation trap. And now I'm looking at an unknown true dragon. It's not angry but annoyed. As he let out a sigh and dropped to the bottom of the cavern where the dragon is. So do you know a fairy named Ramirez? Erogon looked at Leon and chuckled. I haven't heard that name in centuries, but I digress. The name is Erogon and yours? Leon, responded Leon. Is there a way out of here? This place is a little stuffy. Yes there is, said Erogon, but I would like to play a game with you. A game? Said Leon. What type of game? Which caused Erogon to smile and Leon to shudder. The game is simple, said Erogon. Find my body double before I get out of this cave. All you have to say is, the sun rises in the west and falls in the east. If the person laughs and says, blood runs thicker than water, you win. If you don't guess when the double is near you, I win. Stakes? Said Leon. Favors, said Erogon. If you don't guess, I gain a favor, and if you get it correctly, you gain a favor. Not a bad game, I would say. Leon pondered the proposal. If I agreed to this game, I could potentially gain a favor from a true dragon, and if I lose, I owe a true dragon a favor. Wait. How will this game end? Said Leon. Easy, said Erogon, when I say to you, blood runs thicker than water, without you saying the first part. So the number of favors can easily increase. He will have an advantage in this deal, but why do I have the feeling he's going to mess with me? But the favor of a true dragon can easily exceed thousands of favors, thought Leon. Very well. I agree to this game. As Leon agreed to the game and got teleported directly in front of Ramirez in the dwelling of spirits. Hope you enjoy the gift, Ramirez, chuckled Erogon as he fell back to slumber. Chapter 20. Recollection. Walpurgis, or the Demon Lord's Banquet. It was created on a whim by Luminous when the true giant Degruel and the fallen Dino joined when there were 6 demon lords, but to me it was nothing but a tea party guy asked me to attend constantly. After the 4th or 5th time I relented and suggested it to take place in a separate dimension so none would disturb the meeting. Guy agreed and made the dimension, but all that was there was a round table and some intricate chairs around it, each for every member of Walpurgis. As for me, I created a sofa to lie down on. Hey, said Dino standing up and pointing to Erogon, why does he get a sofa and we get chairs? Do you really want to challenge him for it? Said Guy, good luck with that. He is stronger than me even in his current state. Even to me it's not an issue, said Degruel, but why is he not part of the conversation? I can tell he's a dragonoid, not a true dragon. I made this double into a dragonoid, said Erogon, opening one of his eyes, and everyone knew instantly that he was unintentionally releasing small amounts of true dragon hockey, and I'm only here because Guy asked me to be. I have no issue with it, but let's limit the amount of subordinates to 2 so people don't try to get armies in here, said Luminous as Erogon closed his eyes as everyone agreed to it. Many years later, new additions to Walpurgis and a change of hands in Luminous's case to Roy, one of her subordinates. First was Kazalim. His title was the Curse Lord. During one of the meetings I used my Fate Weaver skill to look into the Demon Lord's fate and giggled when I looked at Kazalim's. He noticed it and walked over to me. What's so funny? Said Kazalim. It's nothing, said Erogon, still holding back from full-blown laughter. I just used a skill and couldn't help but giggle a little bit on certain things. Which caused Kazalim to get more angry. Kazalim, said Guy, Erogon's just doing that to get a rise out of you. He has the ability to see people's fates. That is probably what he was talking about. As Guy said that, the other demon lord's interest was instantly piqued. Before you ask, said Erogon instantly, no, I have not used it to change fate, just observe. It's one of the reasons why I don't participate in Walpurgis. As all the demon lords agreed. Kazalim went back to his seat to ponder. Maybe I should have Terra or Laplace locate his real form. But that can wait. So any more to discuss? Said Guy as they got done with the discussion as Milam perked up. Oh, said Milam. There's a few people I want to recommend to the group. And who are they? Asked Guy. Well, there are 4, said Milam, and they're near my territory. One is a Gorgon lycanthrope with a lot of power along with a lion lycanthrope in the same area. The other is a harpy and a Majin with a staff. Though the Majin is a little weird, she doesn't talk much. This immediately alerted Erogon as he rose from his sleeping position, which shocked almost everyone but Guy, who at least recognized one of the people Milam described. Milam, said Erogon, which caused her to stumble slightly, 2 people you described are my servant and subordinate, and with a small agreement between me and Guy, none of them can be a part of Walpurgis. This actually piqued Roy's interest as he spoke. And why is that? Well, to put it simply, said Erogon, before Walpurgis even began in this sense, before the 3 ancient demon lords, I explained to him that each one of my subordinates can rival an unawakened demon lord, and my servants can easily challenge an awakened demon lord. And before you ask, we did test this once and it was not a fun time for both of us. As Guy nodded and Milam sighed. Wait, said Milam, then the other 2? Let's see how they do in the upcoming Tenma War. Suggested Kazalim. If memory serves right, it's in 3 years. That is true, but who would support them? Said Ramirez. I know Milam will with both, but who will be their second and third? Well, said Guy, straightening up in his chair, let's say if the contribution to the war is significant, that will be their third, so they just need someone here to also nominate them. Since I suggested it, I will, said Kazalim before being cut off. I will support the Harpy, said Erogon. She has caught my eye. It takes a calm person to help and play with Milam for a while. Hey, said Milam. Then I will support the lion lycanthrope, said Kazalim. What is his name? If I recall correctly, the lycanthrope's name is Carrion and the harpy has the name of Frey. Said Milam, pouting. Carrion and Frey, ha, thought Erogon. If they survive the Tenma War, then the world is still intact and my old interference with Milam and Luminous and my servants in the other nations. As the other demon lords started to leave, Erogon approached Kazalim. What do you want? Said Kazalim. I didn't even plan anything yet. In the future, please assist them, said Erogon as he gave him a piece of parchment. This will help slightly in your little search. As Erogon smiled, I will think about it, said Kazalim, accepting the parchment and leaving the meeting, along with the other demon lords. So what did you give him? Asked Guy. Nothing to worry about at the moment, said Erogon, just some extra insurance in the future. As he went to his room to rest. Elena, I have a question for you, said Guy as Elena was waiting by the gate in the ice palace. As she nodded, has Eragon's magicules been decreasing over the years? Yeah, it might be because he wasn't born here, said Elena, and I mean by that is he wasn't reincarnated here like the rest of us. Or it's because he has no stardust baseline. Baseline? Said Guy, piquing his interest. In our old world he cast aside stardust energy and as a result this whole dimension was created, said Elena, but Erogon has no sliver of that energy anywhere in his body, even to the trillionth degree. So in this world we may have to do the unthinkable to save him. And that would be? Said Guy as Velzard approached and Elena started to walk away. You know it, said Elena as she turned her head towards him, killing him so he can reincarnate in this world. As Guy just grinned. 3 years later the Tenma War went as planned with one exception. Erogon got involved in the battle in the void, but not his double in Guy's domain, his real body that was in that barrier Veldanava and him created. With one attack he wiped out half the angels in the void. He almost took out some of ours, but with me setting up multi-barrier and absolute barriers they lived. Then he returned to where he rested. Kazalim got scared pale from what she saw and I chuckled at that. What's wrong, Kazalim? Said Ramirez. You look like you messed up. It's nothing, said Kazalim. What the hell? I was hoping to manipulate him, but even if I try there's no chance of that happening, or at least directly. After the war, Carrion and Frey were named demon lords, but news reached Eragon's ear that Kazalim was slain by Leon Cromwell, so one of his subordinates took a new seat after Leon took Kazalim's. I believe that his name is Clayman. During the second Walpurgis where all the demon lords attended, Dino didn't attend the last one because he slept through rain getting him. Well, since everyone is here in attendance, let's decide the titles for the 4 of you, said Guy. Any suggestions? If I may, said Leon, many people called me the Platinum Saber. I would be fine if I keep that as my title. I have no issue with that, said Ramirez, but what have you done with Ifrit? He is still in my possession, said Leon. If I find a suitable candidate I'll have Ifrit possess them. And Erogon disguised as his manas just smiled and Guy noticed it. So that will be your title, Leon, said Guy, then looked at Carrion, Frey, and Clayman. Did you three have something similar? Both Carrion and Frey nodded, but Clayman shook his head. I have no need for a title till now, so no, said Clayman. And why do you seem not to be interested? As he pointed to Erogon. Simple, said Erogon in Rosaline's voice. I am a simple observer to Walpurgis, so I have no right to aid in giving you or the new demon lords their titles. So you just keep your eyes closed this entire time? Said Clayman. That's rather insulting to us as new demon lords. This should put him in his place, thought Clayman as Rosaline, changing the name since he is in his Manas's form, vanished and appeared right in front of him on the table, and before he could react grabbed his hair and slammed him into the table. Quite cocky there, brat, said Rosaline, opening her eyes, revealing pinkish-purple eyes with the irises in an X formation protruding into the white of the eye, and she was releasing demonic aura exceeding Guy's normal aura. You should do your studies better. I'm far stronger than you and I'm here to kill time. As she let him go and returned instantly to her sofa and lying back down with her eyes open. Everyone felt like she was gazing into their very souls. Happy, she said in an annoyed tone. So he used Tiamat's eyes to scare him straight and finally showed some backbone with that aura release, thought Guy. But something caught his attention. If he did that in the beginning, then everyone would fear his strength, so he is showing he has restraint, but don't push your luck. As Clayman quickly healed and realized his foolishness. Okay, then what would you give as a title? Said Clayman, putting up a front. The Fool, said Erogon bluntly, which caused Milam and Ramirez to chuckle under their breath. Let's not go with that, said Guy. Any other suggestions? As Dino spoke. How about Marionette Master, said Dino. He has been trying to attack Rosaline for a little while but is failing. If he continues, Erogon will attack if he annoys him enough. If he continues, Erogon will kill him, thought Luminous, just like all the other forgotten demon lords. I have no issue with this, said Roy. Very well then, said Guy. Misery, if you would. As Misery nodded. Very well then, said Misery. I will now announce the current demon lords. Demon, known as the Lord of Darkness, Guy Crimson. Pixie of the Labyrinth, Ramirez. Dragonoid, the Destroyer, Neelam Nava. Giant, the Earthquake, De Gruel. Vampire, the Bloody Lord, Roy Valentine. Fallen, the Sleeping Ruler, Dino. Harpy, the Sky Queen, Frey. Lycanthrope, the Beast Lord, Carrion. Deadman, the Marionette Master, Clayman. And finally Majin, the Platinum Saber, Leon Cromwell. And observing Dragonoid, Rosaline Pendragon. So that is why he was talking to Misery and Rain. His title would easily give him away, thought Guy as Clayman grinned. Don't say anything, you fool. You're already treading on thin ice with him. So you don't have a title? Said Clayman. How? As a large orb of energy flew right by him as Rosaline glared at him. Ah, I missed, said Rosaline, standing up and walking over to Clayman, but was stopped by Guy. Out of my way, Guy. Not this time, said Guy as both of their auras clashed. You caused this and you know it. Rosaline pondered for a moment before leaving Walpurgis. Very well, as she pointed at Clayman. If I see you near one of my servants, as a small amount of demonic hero aura was released, surprising everyone, you're dead. As she left. I was going to hold a small banquet, but I believe that everyone should go back to their own domains. Said Guy as the other demon lords agreed. So that was Demonic Heroes Hockey. It definitely lives up to its reputation. Chapter 21. Child of Flames. Within the country of Bloomond, the Hunter Association was flourishing, but Shayna had a different opinion. Man, said Shayna with mountains of paperwork, with Hecate working within the Sky Queen's territory working under her. Why did Erogon order her to go there? As she continued the paperwork, a clerk walked in. What is it? Said Shayna without lifting her head. Well, the hero Chronoa, said the clerk, is here to see you. Let them in and close the door, said Shayna, putting down the quill, and waited. After a few moments, Chloe walked in and closed the door. To her surprise, Shayna looked older, around in her late 20s to early 30s, with her iconic blazing red hair and crimson eyes. Well, you've gotten older, said Chloe. Well, I've had to so I can blend into human society, said Shayna. I mean, not all of us can leapfrog through time. True, said Chloe as she sat down on a couch in the office. So can you help me with Shizu's rescue and training? As Shayna just smiled. Well, that's what Erogon asked me to do, said Shayna, but I'm stuck with this paperwork. Don't you have aides or a successor? Asked Chloe as Shayna sighed. I do have a successor, but he is a big old meathead, said Shayna, and he sucks at paperwork. The aides can help, but they still need my signature to approve things. What about your second in command? Said Chloe. Away on a mission from Erogon, said Shayna, continuing her paperwork as a knock on the door was heard. Enter. A clerk opened the door and walked up to her desk. My lady, said the clerk, if at all possible half of your paperwork can be held off and doesn't require your signature. And your successor has been learning proper grammar and language on paperwork, so not much can get through that you wouldn't approve. As the clerk bowed her head, if it does, you can punish him when you get back. Shayna smiled and stood up. Very well, Chronoa, I will aid you in this quest of yours. As she looked at the clerk, tell my unworthy successor that he has to prove himself or I will look for a new one. As both Chloe and Shayna left the office, the clerk bowed her head. Oh, and if you listen in again I will discipline you. She just smiled back. The clerk raised her head as they left the guild and changed her form as black hair with blue highlights goes down to the ground a few inches with clear blue eyes. Erogon did order me to keep an eye on you, Shayna, said the girl, but you need help here more than anything right now. As she sat down at the office desk, Hannah, can you get Shayna's successor? He has a lot of paperwork to work on. Yes, ma'am, hollered one of the clerks, we'll start getting the paperwork ready for him. As another clerk walked in. Oh, what should we call you in that form? Asked the clerk. She just smiled and said, you can call me Kuro. Within Demon Lord Leon's domain at his castle, Shayna and Chloe stood in front of the main gate ready to storm in. So, said Shayna, should I face Shizu or Leon? I would prefer you to face Leon, said Chloe. I will handle Shizu. And Shayna nodded and started walking in, but in front of her eyes she vanished. Time distortion. Oh, I sense her in the castle near Leon. As Chloe walked towards the main gate. I did not sense her last time, but I keep my senses open and alert. Wait, she didn't have a weapon when we started, but she did when she entered the castle, so she has some sort of storage skill. As Chloe approached the main gate she saw Shizu when she was just a child. Now it's my turn. The battle went the same way as always no matter the timeline. Within the throne room, Leon and Shayna were staring down each other. So what does the S-ranked hunter want with me? Asked Leon, letting his aura out. I believe your name is Shayna, the blazing hair and flaming eyes hunter. So you know about me, said Shayna. Well, to answer your question, it's just to punish an ignorant brat for trying to use a summoning spell for a particular person. As she whispered under her breath, even though she's already here. As she drew her sword. Shall we get started? As Leon stood up from the throne and drew his blade, before we begin, may I ask one more question? As Shayna nodded. The sun rises in the west and sets in the east. As Shayna simply smiled. Blood runs thicker than water, said Shayna. I'll let Master know he owes you one. Then I will call in that favor now, said Leon as Shayna's eyebrow twitched. I want you to leave without a battle. Very well, but, said Shayna, I need you to flee for a little bit. As Leon nodded and teleported away, now then. As Shayna created a large fire sphere and detonated it in the throne room, making the entire room scorched with many slash marks on the floor and columns. Sorry, Leon, have to make it look good. As Chloe and Shizu walked into the throne room. Chloe stopped right in front of the throne room for a mere moment but sensed a large time distortion in the throne room. What happened in here? As she opened the door with Shizu and saw the throne room scorched with the main wooden doors on the inside nearly turned to ash with some of the stone tiles on the floor melted at multiple points with cut marks on many of the pillars. To the untrained eye it looked like a large battle happened here, but to Chloe, who has been in many fights, she knew instantly that Shayna caused all the damage. So Shayna and Leon didn't fight, but why? So Demon Lord Leon fled, said Chloe. Yeah, said Shayna, sheathing her sword. I did get a good hit in though. So he left me, said Shizu. No, said Shayna, walking up to her, kneeling down so she was at Shizu's level. You're free to choose what you want to do. As Shayna said that, Shizu's body collapsed as she started to cry, realizing she is free. As all three were leaving the castle, Chloe whispered to Shayna, so how did you get him to retreat without a fight? Simple, whispered Shayna as Shizu was asleep on Shayna's back. Master was playing a game with Leon and he called in his first favor, but any more than that I can't tell you. Fair enough, said Chloe. I thought he would possess you again and fight Leon himself. Oh no, he is too busy, said Shayna, which got a wide glance from Chloe. Right now he most likely will be in the underworld regaining some of his subordinates that were demons. I see, said Chloe, but felt an all too familiar tug. Damn, it's way too soon. But it vanished as soon as it started. She glanced at Shayna and saw one of Erogon's eyes in Shayna's. Well, let's get to Bloomond. As Shayna nodded and started walking in that direction. Wait, what class would those demons be? Asked Chloe, remembering before the tug. Around Archdemon range, said Shayna, they mostly would fall under John, Blanc, Noir, and Rouge's lineage. As Chloe heard the demons' lineages, what the hell? Why does your master have demons from those four? The underworld, a place of desolation and death where demons and their kin fight and die and reform in a vicious cycle. This territory is divided between 7 beings, the primordial demons. The red primordial Rouge, also known as Guy Crimson, the black primordial Noir, the blue primordial Blue, also known as Rain, the green primordial Vert, also known as Misery, the white primordial Blanc, the purple primordial Violet, and finally the yellow primordial John. Within each territory they do as they please, and in this case, it's Violet's domain. Violet goes around her domain and tortures any demon she finds every few years to relieve her boredom. Today she found a red-haired human-looking demon with blue eyes. Man, I was wishing it was someone from my lineage, but oh well. As she begins her attack, the other demon defended with the best of its abilities but mattered little to a primordial like Violet. You fight well for a demon of red, as she prepared an orb of demonic energy, but this is the end. As she was going to throw the orb, someone grabbed her arm from behind her. As she quickly turned to see who it was, her face turned to pure horror. As she sees a person of pure shadow with thousands of skills pouring out in uncontrollable fury. Not this time, Violet, said the man as the orb was thrown in his face instead, which caused him to release her from his grip. That's no way to introduce yourself. As he swiped away the smoke. Well, what do you expect for a shadow? Shouted Violet as the person looked at his arm. Ah, said the shadow, now I see my body didn't fully materialize yet before I interfered. As he looked at the red-haired demon, her expression was that of admiration. Rias, when are you going to remember me? As the shadow reformed into Erogon's male form. Wait, did he just name her? And remember him? Who is this guy and why do I feel the aura of a true dragon here? Thought Violet as the red-haired demon's power shot up tremendously. Wait, why do I feel 6 auras rushing over and one of those is that annoying Noir? And great, even my subordinates are rushing over, they will be here last. As the cocoon was over, the demon known as Rias. Well then, said Erogon with his aura flaring, time for your punishment. What do you? Said Violet as a punch went right for her gut, but she couldn't block it because of its speed. What the? As she regained her breath, a kick came to her face, causing her to go flying to a nearby rock. Who is this guy and why is Noir now rushing here? As Erogon grabbed her collar and started punching her with his aura within his fist, all she can do is block to the best of her ability. This guy is really dangerous. Foo, why is he in the underworld? Thought Noir, how did he even get in here? I didn't even sense him entering even though I control the gate. As he focused his gaze and saw something shocking. Oh dear, I have to speed up and those other demons approaching. At least 2 are Violet's subordinates and the others I'm not sure about. As he finally arrived, he quickly rushed over to stop Erogon's fist from hitting Violet's face again. I think she learned her lesson, said Noir. Erogon released one last punch but beside Violet, which caused the cliff to collapse from the impact. I didn't expect you to be here so soon, said Erogon as Violet cowered in fear from Erogon's gaze. She was healing slowly, but she was nearly beaten to death if Noir didn't step in. Noir, who the hell is this guy? Shouted Violet. Oh, said Noir, that's right, you and the other primordials have never met him, besides Rouge. As Noir gave a slight bow, this is a true dragon from another world, but in truth he is the origin dragon, ErogonWolf. No way, the dragon that was only mentioned by Veldanava in passing, thought Violet. So why was I punished so harshly, as she was finally fully healed as the cocoon cracked and Rias came out. Enjoyed your nap? Said Erogon as the red-haired demon walked towards Erogon and she gut-punched him. I deserved that. Yes you do, said Rias, and thank you Lord Noir for stopping my angered master. Foo, said Noir, for a person under red, you're quite humble. No, it's not that, said Rias waving her hand, the world I came from is the same as Eragon's. My brother had a similar ranking as the primordials here, but he wasn't as powerful as you lords. As the other demons arrived, my lady, said both of Violet's subordinates. I'm fine, said Violet, Veyron, Zonda, as the other demons make little gut punches at Erogon and him apologizing. So I was punished for striking one of his subordinates, what a caring master. Foo, said one of the female demons, ready for your punishment, Erogon? As the other demons back away as she prepared a lightning strike. Wait Akeno, said Erogon stuttering, your lightning is stronger now, please as Akeno's lightning hits true. After the strike Erogon lets out a puff of smoke, that's a Nephilim for you. Wait, said Noir, she's not a full demon. No, said Erogon as he began to explain, there are only 4 of them that are full demons, that is Rias, Kiba, Asia, and Issei. As each one nodded as their name was called, Akeno was born half angel in the old world so it was engraved onto her soul. You see, when demons like Rias make demon contracts, if the person wishes to become a demon, their human side is changed to a demon. But since the angel half remained, she evolved into a Nephilim, a race that combines some aspects of angels and demons, in Akeno's case, a fallen angel. Then what about the one in Blanc's lineage, said Violet. That's Kaneko and she is a Nekomata, or in other words she was a cat person with some spiritual power. Now she is a cat lycanthrope that evolved into a Majin that has both demon and her cat lycanthrope heritage, as Kaneko allowed her cat ears and tail to come out, and before you ask, Rias, they're not in the world yet. I see, said Rias, you at least know where they're going to appear? As Erogon nodded. But now there is a problem, said Noir, as the holder of the gate to this world I can allow passage, but there is something I must know. How I got in here without going through the gate, asked Erogon and Noir simply nodded. Well, it's better to show than tell. As Erogon transformed his right arm and hand into his dragon form with claws fully extended, they radiated an energy that caused both Violet and Noir to shudder. Is that null energy? Thought both of them as Erogon swung his arm down and created a rift in the air. I simply cut through the barrier around the underworld to the cardinal world and walked through, said Erogon as the demons under him sighed. You know Erogon, said Rias as she looked at the shocked faces of Noir and Violet, you always do the craziest things. Well, let's get going, said Erogon as the demons under him went through the portal, and Noir, in a few years you may find something interesting. And Violet, as she jolted, have fun with your schemes. As he entered the portal and closed it. Both primordials watched as the portal closed, they both started laughing. Ha, said Violet, that guy is nuts. A person from the cardinal world forcing themselves into the underworld with their strength. He is very interesting. Foo, said Noir, I would agree, but this is the first time I've seen null energy be used like that. But he has been resting under Falmouth for centuries before he got involved. So you've been watching him? Said Violet. Yes, said Noir, but sometimes his subordinates are more fun to watch. I would have to agree with you on that, said Violet as they both went to their respective castles. Now let's start scheming. Chapter 22. Ogre Village, the Jura Forest, a place where monsters have free reign in controlling their own territories under the true dragon Veldora's protection. Monsters can be categorized into 2 groups. One is the intelligent monsters that have some form of human intelligence, and the other have just animal instincts. Goblins, orcs, lizardfolk, ogres and many other races call this place home. Near the ogre village a woman with fair skin with 2 forward-facing red horns that fade into the skin was resting her eyes. She has purple hair that goes down to her waist. He, she said, are you going to keep hiding or am I going to find you again? As she sensed another's presence. Forgive me Lady Shooten, said an ogre with dark skin and a single horn on his forehead as he appeared in front of her in a bow. The chief was looking for you. It's fine, said Shooten standing up at about 4 feet 9 inches, 145 centimeters. It was a smart call for you to come instead of the chief's son or his daughter. As the ogre nodded. Man, it's been 7 years since I came to this village. I know it's Eragon's order, but why here? They're not very strong, even though they can evolve into Oni like me. But I've only seen a few with the potential of evolving. Must be that naming thing. But if I got renamed by Erogon, what would happen? As she started walking back to the village along with the other ogre. The ogre village has about a few hundred families, totaling around 400 people. The design of the village has a feudal Japan aesthetic, and the village chief's hut was well made. Shuten lightly tapped on the door and she heard from inside, "Enter." As she walked in and saw the chief looking like an old ogre with the sword instructor known as the Guru for his swordsmanship. "Oh," said Shuten, "I didn't expect both high elders here." "Ho ho," chuckled the Guru, "I know I'm no match for you in magic, but in swordsmanship I have the advantage at least." "True, true," said Shuten, "so what do you need, chief?" "Some of our scouts have reported some strange behavior from the orcs entering the forest but leaving soon after," said the chief. "I would like your suggestion for people to evacuate in a few weeks." "If you're suggesting this, then their actions are worrying you," said Shuten. "What are their numbers?" "Their scout groups number at least 60, said the chief, "so their main force would likely be in the thousands." "I see," said Shuten as she pondered. "Well, the children are obvious, but the rest should be," as she thought more, "the prince and princess, along with the best warlock, scout, and blacksmith." As she let out a heavy sigh. "And you, Guru?" as she pointed at him. The chief scratched his chin. "I see, that is a good defensive force or a strike team, and with you protecting the children they can find a good location to rebuild." As Shuten nodded, "Then I see no issues with this plan," as he looked towards the Guru. "Let everyone know." As he nodded and left. "Now let's get to the real reason I called you here. You remember that I can't name anyone here," said Shuten. "Even though I have the power, I can't keep myself stable if I do." "That's not what I wanted to ask you," said the chief. "I wanted to know why your master is interested in our village." Shuten smiled. "How should I know? He just told me to come to this village and that is all." As she drank from a gourd off of her belt which got her a little tipsy, "We do as we please and so does he with his orders. But there are some ogres among the youngsters that caught my eye and I can't wait to see how their story unfolds." As she drank from the gourd again. "I mean hick. Some of my descendants are in that group, he. As she passed out from the strong drink. The chief sighed. Even for an Oni she is definitely a free spirit. As he grabbed a blanket and covered Shuten Doji, a free-spirited wicked Oni with a heart of gold. As he chuckled, "What has this world become?" as he looked outside to the stars.